I want to start by going a little bit back. Todd, Julie, you were sentenced to 19 years combined in prison. Mm-hmm. Todd, did you ever think that you would actually serve all those years?
No.
So for the people that think, look, this pardon is not right, or they think you're still guilty of those crimes, what do you say to them?
I think they're certainly entitled to their own opinion, but normally people that have reviewed what happened and that will now get to on these 8 episodes get to see the documents and get to see the real behind the scenes. Maybe that'll change their opinion, but I'm not trying to change people's opinions. We know what happened, and that's all that matters to me. My Lord and Savior knows what happened. So for whatever purpose it is that he saw fit for this to carry this on through, we're seeing some of the benefits of that now. So, what was formed against us to harm us is actually blessing us right now.
So you stand by your innocence?
Absolutely.
It's been 3 months since your parents were released from prison. Tell me the biggest changes you have seen from them versus the parents that you knew before that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everything is so different. It's kind of crazy seeing them get back into the real world. And when they got home, we spent I would say a week or 2 all together. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go travel. This was great. This was awesome. But just seeing them come back in general is the greatest feeling.
And I would imagine it's great to be home.
Absolutely, it is.
It's great to be home.
Absolutely.
I do want to talk about your time, though, in prison. Julie, you got busy. You were driving forklifts. You
I was
were doing
working
things.
every
you
day,
were working.
teaching classes. Yes.
But tell me, what was the hardest part? Instead of just being away from your family, but
Right.
what was the hardest part for you?
Well, that was the hardest part. Was missing, my husband, my children. Those milestones, holidays. I'm a huge holiday person. I love Thanksgiving. I love Halloween. I love Christmas, birthdays. Grayson graduated high school and went to college. I missed that first move into college. Now, we were able to go a few weeks ago, and that was amazing because it's not something we thought we would be able to do, right now. So that was the hardest part.
Now, did you ever fear for your life in prison?
No.
Never?
Never.
And you're shaking your head, too?
No.
We were not in facilities like that. We were in camps.
They were in a really poor summer camp.
It was a busted version of summer camp. Exactly.
Bad one.
It was bad.
It was bad, though.
With all the bad kids.
I didn't think yes, there were some guys there that.
The ones that misbehaved, wasn't all your model citizens, because we wouldn't be in a camp if that were the case. But
Right. No, I understand that. But, the guys that I was there with, there was no one was fighting. No one was doing any of that. I mean, the worst thing we did was Walmart runs. So, yeah,
we didn't do that. But
she was a better incarcerated
I say
individual
that
than
women in the system, unfortunately, are
treated much worse.
They're treated much worse, but they tell on each other, and they are willing to do something very small in order to get something even smaller. The men are just not that way. And especially, too, a lot of men who have served time in higher security prisons, they know, you don't snitch on people, you don't do this, you don't do that. The women just are not that way.
You're more behaved.
Exactly.
She is very well behaved.
I followed the rules. I did what I was supposed to do. I worked every day.
He was eating Chick-fil-A,
Yes.
Culver's.
Yeah.
It's my jam now. Culver's is my jam.
And you had to go brunette.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gray and brunette.
Exactly.
But Julie, did you have any beauty hacks or beauty tips while in prison?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
They would make all kinds of stuff. I mean, you'd see people do it, but you were able to get a little bit of makeup.
I mean, we were able to get a certain amount of makeup and, face wash. No, it wasn't, top of the line, but, it was better than nothing.
Yeah.
I'll have to say.
What about you, Todd? Was there any beauty product that you were like, oh my gosh, I am missing so much?
Savannah used to get on to me because I grew up with using St. Ives face scrub. And she would say, you should not be using it.
It's so bad. You might as well use rocks and sandpaper on your face.
And I have used it my whole life. And so I was able to get my stuff brought in, from staff members or whatever. And it was, I was grateful to get that. And everyone would always say, oh my God, how does his skin look so good? What are you putting on your skin? I said, St. Ives.
Rocks and sandpaper.
Rocks and sandpaper.
Speaking of the brunette hair, though, Todd, really, when you saw her, you're like, do I need to go back to prison? I've never seen her with brunette
Do
hair.
you understand she's been blind from the moment I laid eyes on her? For 30 years, she's been blind. So when I saw her, and plus, she had never had hair that long. I'd never seen her with hair that long or hair that dark. And so I was like, am I being punked right now? And because, I didn't really know, but I knew something was up because this one started warning me before I got home. She goes, no, Dad, Mom has dark hair. And I said, why would she have dark? Daddy, no one's there bleaching her hair.
It was like red or brown.
Yeah.
So you choose.
They had a few highlight kits, but that wasn't taking care of this.
I mean, you guys are sitting here because of your daughter.
Absolutely. Well, we're sitting here because of our daughter and God and President Trump.
Tell me, Savannah, is there one misconception about this pardon that you want to set the record straight on?
There is a lot of misconceptions. I think, the top two are, no, I did not pay $1 million to his campaign in order to get it. There's a podcast that has quite a few listeners that said I paid $1 million. That never happened. I never even donated to his campaigns in the slightest. So that was number one. And then number two was obviously who did I have to sleep with to make it happen.
Who did you sleep with?
Yeah, right? That was the craziest thing. And the sad part is those rumors were started, I would always hear, by women, which is even more disheartening because as a woman, you should be building each other up, not tearing each other down. So when it came to these pardons, I worked tooth and nail. I spent countless hours and days and money to go to DC and force my way into rooms I was never invited into and have the tough conversations. So it was all just by my grit that got us to where we were at.
I heard you got to talk to President Trump after your release. Tell me about that call.
We were actually still on the prison compound, and Savannah hands me the phone, and it's President Trump on FaceTime. And he was super kind. He was very kind, very humble.
Got your family back.
Yes.
Enjoy this next chapter.
Yes. He also commented on how well I looked.
He did.
St. Ives face scrub.
He did. He said, you look good.
Savannah would always say to me, she'd say, Dad, you're not going to be here. You're not going to be here 10 years. That's not happening. That's not something that I'm ever going to accept. And so don't worry about that. And, it's a great thing to have someone in your life that you can trust. That's a wonderful thing. And
someone that'll fight for you.
Yes, and Savannah was the person that, now I've come to find out that certain things she sugar-coated while I was in because she didn't want me to worry about. But she would always say to me, I'd say, do you think it's going to happen? She says, Dad, I don't know. But what I do know is that it's going to take everyone telling me no. It won't be one person. So I lived on that every day. I'm like, okay, well, so if one person tells her no, she's got 1,000 more people she's going to, so I'm good.
But it gave you hope,
yes,
right?
We are blessed because we never lost hope. Yeah. But what about those other individuals that do not have that hope? That the federal government and the system has stripped them of that hope? What about that 155,000 federal inmates right now, male and female, that don't have this daughter? So it shouldn't be about us right now. It should be about those men and women that are still in that system that have no one to fight for them. No one to look at their case. No one to know that they're not being given proper FSA credits or Second Chance Act. Or
receiving medical care.
medical care.
It's not saying that, obviously, I will speak for myself. I believe in law and order. I believe we have prisons for a reason.
Right.
It's not to say that all these men and women are innocent, But it is to say if they were sentenced to a time, they shouldn't serve a day more than the time
That's
they were
right.
sentenced to. And to make sure that things like the First Step Act, Second Chance Act are being implemented, because under the Biden administration they weren't. So I think that's the important part is, yes, we believe in prisons, but you should be treated humanely and you shouldn't serve a day more than what you were sentenced to.
That's right. And you should not be abused while in the custody of the Federal Bureau of Prisons or of any prison.
I feel like I see a future in politics.
Well, the irony of it was I was on a call, I think it was Thursday or Friday of last week, with a governor, and I came in and said, "You're not going to believe this." And she said, "What?" I said, "They want me and Savannah to run for 2 seats." And I said, "Can you imagine me and her in the same state, both holding office?"
Savannah, I do want to talk about, though, because you really led the charge, and I know you wish some of your other family members were helping you, including your brother Chase. Now that your parents are back home, what is your relationship like? Is it better?
Right now, I think, Chase is focusing on him, I'm focusing on me, and I'm in a place to where I want to enjoy my life. I want to travel. I want to make up for lost time. And all I can control is myself. So that's what I'm going to focus on and see where it goes.
Was that heartbreaking for you guys to come home to? It's like you got this hope, you're home, but then you come home to a family rift.
Well, we haven't seen this episode, so we.
Oh, you're like, I don't know.
Yeah,
You don't know.
Well, they know the reality.
we know
Yes.
that we know the reality of it, and absolutely, as a parent, as a mom, you want your children to have this beautiful relationship and have each other, and that's what my prayer is.
And listen, we have always been a very tight-knit family. And we have always been that we can fight amongst each other, but don't you reach your hand into it. And that I know that the way they've been raised, that they will mend this fence. But that's not up to me and you to do that. They're adults. They both have to figure out what their common ground is. And listen, we all in life have to pick a hill to die on.
Totally, and this is not it.
Nope.
I do want to talk about your marriage, though. I mean, did this experience strengthen it, or were you at all nervous?
No, I was not nervous at all. I went in knowing who I was. I went in knowing that Todd and I had a great marriage, and that when we got home, regardless of what that looked like, we would have a great marriage again. And I'm so grateful for that.
And Julie, how did you react to those rumors that came up, or the allegations?
Oh, listen, I have never been one to really. I'm not one to read comments on Instagram. I don't listen to the chatter. It didn't affect me either way because I knew it wasn't true.
Are we going to see a lifestyle change with the family?
Well, we have certain things that we're working on right now.
A lifestyle change, though?
Yeah.
In
How's
what
Like
way?
we're so used to seeing you guys live this lavish lifestyle, and I
mean,
don't
we
know.
like what we like.
We like what
Yeah.
we
Also-
like, and we're not going to change that. We don't have to apologize for God blessing us with the opportunities that He has blessed us with. We don't have to
For working hard.
or for working hard. And I think people fail to realize that Julie and I have been working our entire life. That even from the time that we got together, both of us were on jobs. And we have continued to work side by side every day. We built what we have together. And what 2 prosecutors and some corrupt people within the federal government tried to take, they knocked a dent in it, but they couldn't take it all. And one of the greatest blessings is that, and the Scripture speaks on this, that He will restore you 7 times. He's doing that.
What was the first luxury that you bought out after prison?
I really haven't. I mean,
Todd.
I really haven't.
No, I
'Cause
think right now it's the build back. Like
Yeah.
right now, and
Yeah,
what
it's not
they
luxury.
what they've said is like you get so used to
to having
living
less.
because when they
And you
came,
realize you don't need everything that you had.
yeah, when they came home, I was like, here, y'all come down here, like to the master bedroom. They're like, no, we're fine. I was like, huh? I was like, this is not the old response I would have gotten. And they're like, you just get used to
Yeah,
not.
it puts things into perspective.
And I think that you have to remember that, you were lucky if you could buy a pair of tennis shoes on commissary because it was ran so poorly.
You were lucky if you got a pack of peanut butter.
Yes, exactly. So, I think that you have to look now and say, do we need a 20,000 square foot home? No, we don't need it, but if I want it, I can get it. Do we need 5 cars? No, and nor do I want all that responsibility anymore. I really want a more simplified life.
So I guess you do want a lifestyle change.
Yes.
But
The answer is yes.
I want a more simplified life to where I don't want to have 15 people working for me in my home. I want Julie and I to be able to have some privacy. I don't want to have to worry about someone violating an NDA. I don't want to have to worry about a gardener getting a picture of us coming out of the house and me in my underwear because I'm going to check the pool water or whatever. I want to be able to have that. But as far as us simplifying our lives from a financial standpoint, we're still going to buy what we want to buy. And we're not going to let someone else's opinion determine what we can buy and what we can't buy.